Hi, good morning. This is Trina here to discuss about isomerism. That is the part of stereochemistry. And in the first lecture of the stereochemistry, you have learned the concept of stereochemistry, the different types of three-dimensional representation of the molecules, optical activity of the molecules, and the chirality. And today you will learn the isomerism and the different types of isomerism. So in my personal information, I have given my contact number and email ID. So if you have any doubt regarding my lecture, then you can communicate with me. And the most important part, that is the course page. So here you can get all the study materials, different types of problems, semester questions, and solve problems. So first of all, you have to join with the code given here, DMBC. Then you can access the all materials. The subject name, chemistry, subject code, CH101 for odd semester, CH201 for even semester. This course is for undergraduate BTech students and the streams are CSE RT Civil Mechanical for even semester, Electrical EC BME for odd semester. The prerequisite knowledge required to understand the chemistry concept, that is 12 standard. So, in this course, in the chemistry course, you will learn different concept of chemistry. Course outcomes, you will learn that the stereoisomerism and the lecture plan given here. From this, you can understand that which topics will be covered in which day. So our topic is in the module 3, that is the stereochemistry. So this is already highlighted. So you have already learned the first lecture, the representation of three-dimensional structure, chirality, and optical activity. And today you will learn the second lecture, that is the isomerism, structural isomerism, and the stereoisomers. So here the students will understand the three-dimensional structure of different molecules along with chirality, optical activity, and different types of isomerism. Also the textbook you will get from the library. So now, in my previous lecture, what you have learned? You have learned the stereochemistry. That is the completely new concept, not new, basically it requires some visuality. If you will get more idea if you can see some videos, then you will get that how the molecules remains at the space, that means how it remains in three-dimensional space. Basically, when we read any book or anything, always we get the representation in two-dimensional, but only the three-dimensional video, you will get the three-dimensional concept. So stereochemistry, you know, that is a sub-discipline of chemistry, involves the study of relative spatial arrangement. Okay, so how it arranged in the space. So that will told in the stereochemistry chapters. The study of stereochemistry focuses on stereoisomers, which by definition have the same molecular formula and sequence of bonded atoms, but differ in the three-dimensional orientation of their atoms in space. For this reason, it is also known as 3D chemistry, that means three-dimensional chemistry. So why this stereochemistry is so important? Because it is very important to understand the different properties of the chemicals, different compounds like organic, inorganic, biological, physical uh, chemistry, part of the physical chemistry, and also the span of interspectrum. That means we can understand that all the reactions, how will take place. Not only the property of the molecules, also we can determine the how the as per the property, how the reaction will take place. So the stereochemistry, in which this relationship influence the reactivity of the molecules of the dynamic stereochemistry. So now I will show you that how the SN1 SN2 reaction, that is the part of organic chemistry, you will get in details in the organic chemistry, that how it takes place, that SN1 reaction and SN2 reactions. So SN1 reaction, it is this type of 2D representation. We see this 2D representation here, like there is just two steps. First, it becomes like positive ions, positive carbocations. Then it is attacked by OH. So in this way it occurs. So it is the two-dimensional representation. And how the SN2 occurs? SN2 takes place, it is in the single step. Here you can see the transition stage. Then we are getting the product. So the attack occurs from the backside and the umbrella shaped is reversed. So here the umbrella shaped in this way, you can see, okay, this direction. Now it is in reverse direction. Okay, so basically these are the two-dimensional representation. Now, if we see in the three-dimensional representation, that is the part of stereochemistry, you will be more clear. So for this reaction, how it is taking place, I will show the video. It is very interesting video, just look carefully. So this one is the SN1 reactions. And S for substitution reaction, N as it involves nucleophile, and one step involved in the slowest. So this slowest step is the rate determining step. It occurs in tertiary haloalkanes. Why? Because you can understand there is the bulky group which does not allow other group to attack. So it is basically occurs in tertiary halocarbons. Here you can see the bulky group, that is the CH3, another CH3, and that is why it does not allow another group to attack. So what happens? It reaction, you can see it here, the 2-methyl-2-bromopropane. This reaction is shown here. So here it is two-step reaction, and the first step, that is the slow step, and it is the energy level is higher. And here you can see the transition state complex and carbocation formed. And here you can look at the picture. So first, the carbocation is formed. Then in the second step, that is the lower energy level. So it is going very fast because every molecule wants to be at the lower energy level. So in this way, we are getting the final product. So it is the SN1 reaction. So it is called also unimolecular reaction. Here you can see the transition state. Again, it is the carbocation is formed. Then this carbocation is attacked by nucleophiles. the negatively charged, and we are getting the final product. So you have understood that what is the SN1 reaction and in the light of stereochemistry. Now, I will show that the SN2 reaction also. I will show you the SN2 reaction in the light of stereochemistry. Okay, so this one is the SN2. S for substitution reaction, N for nucleophile, and 2 species involved in the slowest. That means the rate is dependent on the 2 reactants. So here you can see the nucleophiles, that is the negatively charged. So it first attack here. So this, okay, you observe the movement of these reagents. Now how it is coming? Then this positively charged carbon. So look here carefully, that is occur from the backside. Attack of the nucleophile occurs from the backside with the carbon. And this both step occurs in single step, that is called the transition state. Okay, so now it is leaving. See, then here the negatively charged groups are leaving. So in same step, we get the both occurs. One is including, added, another is leaving. So it is a transition state. Now we are getting the product, that is SN2 reactions. So you have seen these 2 types of reactions, SN1, SN2, in the light of stereochemistry. So you understood that why the tertiary halocarbons are preferred in the SN1 and the normal, that means primary halocarbon is preferred, that means more susceptible for the SN2 reaction. So here the 2-dimensional representation already you know, and the umbrella shaped, how it become reverse, you have seen in this video. So in the video, from this video, your idea is very clear. So you understood the role of stereochemistry, how the reaction takes place. Now you will learn the isomerism. What is isomerism? So the isomers are the molecules that have same molecular formula but have a different arrangement of atoms in space. Okay, so they are the same, molecular formula is same, but spatial arrangement is different. That excludes any different arrangement which are simply due to the molecule rotating as a whole or rotating about particular bonds. Stereochemical isomers are molecules which have the same chemical formula, bond connectivity, but different relative arrangement in 3-dimensional space. Okay, so bond connectivity for the stereochemical isomers are same, but the bond connectivity for structural isomers are different. So in contrast, constitutional isomers have same molecular formula but different bond connectivity. Thus, N-butane and isobutane. Okay, so see here. Thus, N-butane and isobutanes are structural isomers, while the isomers of limonene, the compound which gives the different taste of lemon and orange, are examples of stereochemical isomers. So first of all, you got the idea of isomers, that what is the isomers means the same molecular formula but different arrangement in the space. Now, there are different types of isomers. So, main classification is the structural isomers and the stereochemical isomers. So, what you have learned? The stereochemical isomers are the molecules which have same chemical formula, okay, and bond connectivity, but different relative arrangement in three-dimensional space. Okay, so it is the chemical formula and bond connectivity, but different relative arrangement. But for structural isomers, the bond connectivity is different. So now, if you look at the example, then you will be more clear. So look here. The first one, can you tell that which one is structural isomer and which one is the stereoisomers? Okay, so first one is the structural isomers, the figure 1. Here you can see there is a carbon. Just 1 second. Okay, so here you are getting the carbon with this, the hydrogen and 3 methyl group. So here carbon, 1 hydrogen and 3 methyl group. Okay. But here you can see the bond connectivity is different. Here the carbon is the central position. There are 4 bonds, 3 methyl group, 1 hydrogen. That is called isobutane. But for N-butane, there you are getting, here is 1 carbon, CH3 group, that is carbon. Okay, so CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. So it is differently added. So bond connectivity is different, but the number of carbon and number of hydrogen is same. So molecular formula will be same. Molecular formula will be like C4, both case C4, and the number of hydrogen 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10. Okay, H10. So molecular formula is C4H10 for both case, but the bond connectivity is differently connected. But for the stereoisomers, the bond connectivity is same, but they remains in different way in the different spatial arrangement in the space. So here you can see the stereochemical isomers, the figure 2. So first one, the plus limonene, and second one minus limonene. You can see what is the difference? All the bond connectivity is same. Here the ring, there is the CH3, CH2, double bond and CH3. So here is also we are getting the same way. Now, what is the only difference you can see? This is the only difference. What you are getting the difference? This one. This one. That is only difference. So, what is the difference? That is the wedge line. That is the dashed line. So, wedge line means you know that is the forward to the viewer, and the dashed line, that means the backward side, that is the away from the viewer, back side. So this is the stereochemical isomers. The bond connectivity is same, but there they have the different arrangement in the space. So you have learned the 2 main classification. Now let's see in our flow chart. So isomers, the classification of isomers, First, you are getting the stereoisomers. Okay, first you are getting the structural or constitutional isomers. Another is stereoisomers. Stereoisomers have different types. That is the configurational isomers and conformational isomers. So configurational isomers is of two types. One is geometric, another is optical. So geometric means the geometric configuration is different. Like you will learn the cis isomers and trans isomers. And the optical, based on optical activity, that is also two types, enantiomers and diastereomers. And the conformational isomers, these are only the similar, only they are different with their rotation. If you rotate the molecules, then you will get the second structures. And optical isomers, so optical activity you have learned, the molecules which have optically active, which are optically active, that means which can rotate the plane polarized light, either right side or left side. So they are optically active isomers. So in this regard, this is the enantiomers and diastereomers. This is of two types. So in my last class, you have learned what is optical activity. Can anybody tell? Yes, just now I told you. Yes, so if there is a plane polarized light and the molecules which can rotate this light either in right side or in the left side, they are called optically active. So the optically active, that means there are two types, the enantiomers and the diastereomers. So here are the examples given. So enantiomers, what is enantiomers and what is diastereomers? I'm coming later. You have to take the mirror image of these two. It is given. Okay, this is the mirror image basically. CH2. If you observe carefully, you can see that is the basically it is the mirror image. Okay, if you put here a mirror, so this is the mirror image. So it will have the mirror image. Okay. So enantiomers have the mirror image, but they are not superimposable. They are the enantiomers. But here you can see this is not exactly the mirror image. Okay, you can see the diastereomers. So now let's see the more elaborately about the definition of different isomers. So you got the constitutional isomers, or you can say it is the structural isomers or stereoisomers. So there the compounds have the same molecular formula but different connectivity. This is the structural isomers. To determine whether two molecules are constitutional isomers, just what you have to do, you have to count the number of each atom, like how many carbons are there or how many hydrogens are there, and see how the atoms are arranged. If both molecules have the same count for all of the different atoms and the atoms are arranged in different ways, but their connectivity is different, that means their connectivity is different, they are called constitutional isomers. So here also the examples are given. Like you can see that is the ether group is here, but here is no ether group. That is oxygen is in the form of OH. Okay, so here the bond connectivity is different. So here you are getting OH, but here you are getting O. But the number of carbon and the number of hydrogen, number of oxygen is same. So for first one, the number of carbon, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also number of carbon is 4. Okay. So here you are getting, and number of hydrogen, if you count 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 2, 7, then 10. And here also you will get the same number of hydrogen. 3, 2, 5 and then 3, 2, 5, 10. Total is 10. So that is called the constitutional isomers. Next, the stereoisomers you have learned. It is exhibited by isomers having the same structures but differing in their spatial arrangement. It is having different configuration. There are two types of stereoisomers, as I told, the optical isomers and geometric isomers. Optical isomers, what I told, that the optical isomerism is defined as the compounds which have same structures but different configuration, and due to their molecular asymmetry, they can rotate plane of polarization light, plane polarized light. Optical isomers have similar physical and chemical properties. The marked difference between, okay, so plane polarized light, it can move either it can rotate either in right side clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So they are called optically active. So optical isomers or optically active isomers is of two types, enantiomers and diastereomers. So if a molecule is non-superimposable on its mirror image, that means it has the mirror image but they are non-superimposable. So with the hands also you can see. So then the molecule is said to be enantiomeric relationship with its mirror image molecule. For example, in 2-chloropropane, the molecules is superimposable with its mirror image. So they are identical molecules. But in 2-chlorobutane, the molecules is non-superimposable with its mirror image. And the two molecules are called enantiomers. Thus, enantiomers are stereoisomers. If we define, so what you will say? Enantiomers are stereoisomers since they differ only in the relative arrangement in the different groups in space, but not in bond connectivity. Okay? Enantiomers are identical in all physical properties except optical rotation and chemical properties and reactivity compared to achiral reagent in reactivity. So enantiomers may rotate plane polarized light by equal and opposite amount. So optical activity different means one can move in the right side direction clockwise, another will move the plane polarized light in the opposite direction. And what is the diastereomers? So some optical isomers may rotate plane polarized light by different amount and they are called diastereomers. So they have different chemical and physical properties. Okay, so they are completely different, but they are optically active. They can rotate the plane polarized light. They are diastereomers. So here you look at the different molecules and their mirror image. Okay, so first one, look it carefully. First, look it carefully. First one, it is about the 2-chloropropane. So first we are taking the mirror image. So these are the mirror image. both side there is the methyl group, okay, and this is the chlorine. So they are superimposable or not? What you think? Are they superimposable or not? They are similar. The groups are superimposable. Okay, these two groups, because the both are methyl group, that is why they are superimposable. So they are not enantiomer. Molecules are superimposable, so they are not enantiomers. But in the next, what you see, the 2-chlorobutane. Here the first is chlorine, that is similar after we taking the mirror image, and hydrogen is also the similar, but this methyl and this is the ethyl group. Here, that is why we are getting the ethyl group here and we are getting the methyl group here. So these two groups are non-superimposable. Okay, you can see that one side is ethyl group, another side is another ethyl group. Okay, that is why they are non-superimposable. In this case, two methyl group are in the same side, they are superimposable. But in this case, the ethyl group and methyl group in one side and methyl and ethyl group is also another side. So they are not superimposable. Okay, so you can say this is the enantiomers. Okay, so this is the example of enantiomers. So you have got the concept of the enantiomers very well. Now, you look at the different examples. They are the more enantiomers. The lactic acid, it is the lactic acid. These are the enantiomers. You can take the mirror image. Okay, you take the mirror image and you look, they are superimposable or not. So the mirror image is non-superimposable because here you are getting the hydrogen different and here you are getting the CH3. So they are non-superimposable. Now it is a 2-bromo-3-chlorobutane. 2-bromo-3-chlorobutane. So we are taking the mirror image and they are non-superimposable because if we take both together, so here we will get the bromine, here we will get the chlorine, right side, and also in the left side we get the hydrogen. So they are non-superimposable. That is why they have the mirror image, but they are non-superimposable. So they are the enantiomers. So you learn the enantiomers. Now also you look at the diastereomers. So these are the examples of diastereomers. Example of diastereomers, that is the D-erythrose and D-threose, L-erythrose and L-threose. Okay, they are the diastereomers. So diastereomers, they are basically have no, that means they are of course isomers. Their molecular formula will be same. They are optically active, but their properties are different. They does not have the mirror image. If you look at carefully, then you will see they are different. Okay, next, the conformational isomers is the form of stereoisomerism in which the isomers can be interconverted just by rotation about formally single bonds. So what is the conformational isomers? If you rotate, then you will get its isomers. Next is the geometric isomerism. So any of two or more stereoisomers that differ in the arrangement of atoms or groups of atoms around a structurally rigid bond, such as a bond, double bond, or a ring. Geometric isomers differ from one another in physical properties like melting and boiling points. So it is of two types. One is cis isomers, another is trans isomers. So look at the picture, then you can understand. So cis indicates that the functional groups are on the same side. Okay, cis indicates that the functional groups are on the same side of the carbon chain, while trans convey that the functional groups are at the opposite sides of the carbon chain. So look carefully at the figure. This is the example, the cis isomers and the trans isomers. Cis but2-ene, trans but2-ene. So you can see the methyl group, the bulky group, that is at the same side, that is the cis isomers, but here you can see it is at the opposite side, so that is the trans isomers. So you are very clear about the cis and trans, about the geometrical isomerism. So if I like to summarize what you have learned today, you have learned lots of things. First of all, you have got the idea that how reaction takes place in the light of stereochemistry. You have seen also the SN1, as for example, I have shown you the SN1 and SN2 reaction, how they are taking place in the space. Okay, so its visualization is very important to clear your concept. Next, you have learned the definition of isomerism and the classification of isomerism. You have learned different types of isomers, like the structural isomers, main classification, the structural isomers, and the stereoisomers. And the stereoisomers is of two types, like the geometrical, there are different types, geometrical isomers, and also the optical isomers. There are also conformational. So most important, that is in the geometrical isomers, you got the cis and trans isomers, and the optical isomers, like which have the optical activities, they are the cis isomers and the trans isomers. Enantiomers and the diastereomers. So you have learned the definition along with the examples, that what are the different types of isomers. So now you solve these questions, like differentiate between constitutional isomers and stereoisomers. Number 2, the enantiomers and diastereomers, and write down the classification of isomers. So I hope you understood very well, you enjoyed the class, and you can write all the questions easily. So thank you, students. I am ending my class for today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.